welcome to my lovely HP community and the 5D collective. Here we are with our new moon 5D messages and 2025. Love, life, partner, and career, all of it. In your mindfully and spiritually living and loving brain, mind, and self and body, use stress is really fun. For those of us who know mindfulness, mindset practices, for real, the 5D collective. So, we were talking today about spiritual readings, life advice, motivational mindset, and the difference between 3D, 4D, and 5D. Also, how your life partner material, if you are internally securely attached, meaning you apostrophe RE. Okay, so when you are internally or seeking internal secure attachment, not attachment. And also, if they dismiss healing all trauma, so people, or healing and emotional maturity overall, don't waste time in the relationship romantically because they're not their whole tree. They didn't get an empowered feminine or an empowered masculine because the empowered feminine, body and heart. And on the other time, you are on the other front. You are life partner material again because you're internally securely attached. So you're an empowered feminine. And so your romantic relationships are full of fun because you have that thing called the seed that gives you integrity. Being yourself authentically with the empowered feminine and masculine as the authentic self with healed childhood trauma, or just never losing yourself because of the power of community teaching you how to be speaking authenticity and self-expression from your throat chakra. So in either or cases, with a good therapist you get it, or with a family that allowed you to be completely your true self, raise your hand so we don't lose ourselves. While the seed that sustains lost integrity is a paused self from unhealed and ignored childhood trauma. So they don't own this. They don't have an empowered feminine, masculine. Actually, what they will have is a, where are they? Will have an orphan and no eternal child who's their own mentor or their own, lover or shaman, as they don't know how to even be their own poet because they don't know how to access that which is the truth of their own self, because a paused self doesn't know the truth of their whole self. They're not yet the spiritual process or awakened to it. They might think they know alignment and synchronicities just because they see numbers, but I'll know if they know alignment and synchronicities when they know how they don't know everything. Yeah, the marriage with the unknown into the unknown, like actively darkness, being unseen and seeing yourself. Okay, so the truth, your angelic voice, stems from you not having a lost direction that leads you to mindful thinking that would keep you in a lost body of integrity. Securely attached people have integrity because our group thinks in rainbows, and that's because our right and our left work together, and we don't need direction with unhealthy, self-soothing and self-regulating, insecurely, non-securely attached mannerisms, which are all the people follow the fancy lady and men in suit who say stay in your threat response. Your life partner and career and love goes well when you speak a truth that involves a depth of knowing from the whole, again, solo self that lives a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. And you have a relationship with, where's my lovely other, hold on, I had you somewhere. I'll need to wait a minute. I might have it in my book. We'll find out if she's here. No, she's not. But Anima Mundi, where's our lovely? Here she is. So, the soul of the world and all that is. So, accepting all that is and rejecting nothing. Now, I know some people don't believe in those of us who have clairs, intuition, but science looks into it just as much. It's frequency, vibration. The 3D, 4D are actively going to live out their 0 to 8-year-old, is what I'm going to read to you in a minute. But we, on the other hand, have the freedom to know that, sometimes life stings, but it's not hard. Nature is not brutal. Nothing's really brutal because we have mental and emotional maturity thanks to self-regulating in our whole self with our prefrontal cortex. So we know spirit has our back, or basically your mind, embodied brain, you have psych education and know how to be seen, soothed, safe, secure as yourself. You reparented the inner child, or you're still doing it, but you have spirit, space, thanks to mindfulness, mindset, and mindset practices that you implement, and your will to be yourself. And the best version of yourself is when you're using the smart, bilaterally and vertically integrated brain in all integration. So using your mind wisely is why the time for beginner's mind, like the porcupine, has spikes, but it's not spiky. It's not hard. When you have thoughts, you don't have inner critic, outer critic. You don't have monsters. You have a gentle touch because you know now how to turn knowledge into wisdom, unlike that Zen master who calls his emotions laundry. Okay, so he doesn't know that there's enough to go around because he doesn't know how to tend to the small things, the words he uses. And his type of surrendering is like those who are 3D, 4D, which is not in their 0-1-year-old, 3 to 7, and all the child parts with a higher self who says, hey, ventral vagal state, activate. I am the lead of me. And now I'm going to do, who are the 5 people, my 5 alloparenting people that I have healthy self-worth relationships with? Who are those people who see me, I see them, I soothe me, they soothe me, safe haven, secure base, monoamory, polyamory, don't matter, just people. Okay, now if you don't have people, that's where your one true love and life partner, but you don't have to like be extreme about it, okay? But that's the thing of why the one individual in any relationship is what leads a person who wants to experience fullness independently, not codependent type. The codependents are different. Okay, so independent relationships we build from a place of full and not the visceral. Okay, so it's mind, heart, and into each other's arms we go. So you are life partner material again if you are internally securely attached. If they dismiss healing, all trauma, emotions, and all of it, leave it alone. Don't waste the time in the relationship romantically, because again, the seed that gives you integrity is being yourself with healed childhood trauma or never losing you, while the seed that sustains lost integrity is a paused self from unhealed and ignored childhood trauma. When we have paused self, people, mystics, they are in the 3D, 4D collective frequency because they lead with unhealed, charged trauma patterns and thoughts and behaviors. They perpetuate trauma through a mind, heart, body, self that leads in the threat response and a modulated and dysregulated embodiment. We know restorative embodiment, they don't choose it like the Zen master. He's in his temporal junction when he thinks of laundry. They use the dark sides of neuroplasticity and wire themselves shut in their inner and outer critic mindset with shame cycle, self-fulfilling prophecies that play out over time and for the remainder of their life. Like when you see someone saying, one man will show me why I need 10, or one woman will show me why I don't want any, or however that works. So karma is the choice of the paused self, mystics and people, the 3D, 4D collective, who don't pursue healing trauma or trust breaks or any of that with a good therapist. And they also don't learn how to get out of that rigid thinking, unforgiving, harsh, then never say never, ever, ever, ever. And that's black and white. That's split thinking. It's also generalized thinking, which is why they don't move beyond their hurt. And that's why we have a Zen master again with pain points dragging them around. They also don't care what they bring to life and in the relationships with the adaptive child rigid thinking and the maladaptive patterns of behaviors. Or, when somebody says, I don't believe in love, but then you go out and date, don't date if you don't believe in love. You're not wanting to date. You're afraid to date. If, on the other hand, you take life seriously in relationships, you're going to know if I'm that bitter with a venomous tooth about relationships, therapy will help me. And then disengaging from never ever say ever, generalized statements or movies also. Okay, so teenagers I thought were just teenagers. Now that I'm a grown up, I know there's a buttload of grown ups and teenagers alike that don't know how to be in their ventral vagal state. Use bilateral and vertical integration, be mindfully, spiritually, their authentic selves, and have a good time. And then know that, of course, there's people that want to share their heart and soul consistently over time. That's actually quite ridiculous that anyone would think that there's not healthy self-worth people out there. There are. And the empowered men and women and days, well, finally, we're all here on YouTube and anywhere and everywhere and say, okay, now that we have it all settled in, we spotted all the other ones. Here we are. Who wants the playground of the 5D? Come on over, have a good time. Okay, so whole self, people, and mystics. We are in the 5D collective frequency because we lead with internal secure attachment and or healing trauma and or healed. Okay, so we have emotions now. You just don't project them. So we don't have no disowned child parts or self parts or alters we don't know about. We know how to say, hey, I have maladaptive patterns, but I'm working on all of it. And hey, I got alters, but I'm working on this too. So we know how to bring it on together and talk about it. That's the good therapists that give these lovely human beings a way to say, hey, healthy self-worth people, where are you? So we self-regulate in our safety ventral vagal state, and those who are like, yeah, we want that too, they're like all over it. And it's really fun, by the way, to be in spiritual retreats with people like that. Come on over. We're not like begging universe for anything. It's more like, whoa, I get to have an Akashic record reading and learn something about something and whatever else I'm going to learn, and get to see things too. So we use the bright sides of neuroplasticity. We also know sciences don't dismantle spirituality land, but really there's so many different, it's amazing. The full shared consciousness sphere of orchestra, of music and harmony, and all our ancestors from history and books and you name it, is really fun, by the way, to be an intuitive. I never thought I would be here. That's the one thing my teenager would not have guessed. Everything else, pretty good, because I trust in me. That's because I know my shit. When I'm feeling blue, all I have to do is take a look at me, then I'm not so blue. So the bright sides of neuroplasticity is that we own our own mind and body. Yay! I told my mom at 3, can't spank me, it's my body. She did. I went to make my suitcase, but I didn't leave. And then I got to my teenage boyfriend. I said, don't try to change me. I don't change. It's me. And then when eventually someone's like, you need to change. What? I need to unplug my ears or something. So here's when you own your sense of self and soul of self in your heart. And you say, yeah, I don't change. But thanks for letting me know that not really sure why you're here. It's okay. I'm good. I don't have questions at all. Cusco, what's up? So we do Dharma, which is why we don't say anything to Cusco. Dharma is the choice of the whole self, mystics and people, and that's of the 5D collective again. So we pursue healing trauma, and we care about what we bring to life in relationships, and we pursue having the functional inner child adult thinking and patterns of behaviors, which is why in our collective healthy adult relationships that heal trauma for those who want it and want a genuine relationship, well, we have healthy self-regulation, so do you, and soothing within your body with an empowered feminine. These are messages while I'm also reading, just food for thought as well. So you're empowered feminine because you engage your social engagement system, the nervous one. It's really easy while somebody's lying at you. You're like, okay. And that's because I got to learn. By the way, I got to get here. I'm 44. Remember, age doesn't matter. And you practicing it is your desire and choice. Your mind, in fact, is yours, empowered. Thanks to having and pursuing bilateral. Hey, Maria, what's up? I got emotions going on. What do you got? Thoughts? Okay, it's okay. Hey, self-regulate. It's cool. Empowered feminine. We're good. God says physical safety, spot on. Emotions, great. Heart, great. What's up? Oh, yes. Bilateral, vertical, overall integration of the brain, as well as that functional child adult with my heart. Yeah, it's accountable, accepts flaws with integrity and unconditional love. So again, cultivating lifelong relationships, loving, secure attachment. Always. My facade friend, as I found out with great surprise that he didn't hear shit from my heart and soul, and that I didn't have to do it ever again with anyone the minute I spotted facades. Because when they lack self-awareness, accountability, and regulation, Cusco, what does he do? At the end, he lies to Pacha. We don't like liars, but we learn how to politely leave it alone, which is why the fancy woman proves our point. It's dangerous to have no emotion. She thinks we are emotionless. Like those teenage dramatic kids as I grew up who thought I was emotionless. And I'm like, no, I'm just not dramatic and I'm empowered. I don't understand why you're jealous about anyone. There's 8 billion people. If it's that easy for this to happen, you really want to be with someone that, believes other people and doesn't talk to you? I mean, I don't really understand. That's not internally securely attached mystic or person. So, healthy adult relationships and new stories that heal trauma for those who want it. Again, we love to love and laugh and live and learn and expand consciousness and not cast stones. And as Michael Jordan points out, some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen. So when you make it happen, it's because of you knowing how it works to be your true self. And actually, it's really amazing to have these types of moments. So the new moon comes from our last new moon where you are here. It's time for true love to come into your life and a true life partner, which means a healthy self-worth human being with two sides of the brain, vertically all integrated, great with all the smart therapists, all the smart scientists, all the mystics. They're not making fun of anyone. We know Lucifer is not Lucifer. There's all these people with trauma. And that's because, seriously, neuroscientists have and continue to share with us a lot of explanations which doesn't disprove Atlantean, Lemurian, Pleiadian, twin flames, spiritual. No, it doesn't. It just adds. It's Consilience approach. It's bringing it all together. So again, we have a lot in store for our spiritual self-help mindful community, 5D Mystic Mentor here, as we continue to come together and chit-chat authentically about how fun it is to be with people who know how to see you, and then they get to really get that heart and soul connect. Oh my gosh, I love that so much, and I look forward to being back maybe with something more before our new year. In the meantime, thanks again for stopping by. I hope you are having just the most wonderful time adding to your oversoul, becoming more integrated with your brain, more amazed by your clairs. And when we get together as mystics, that's going to be fun. And when we have our tier subscription-based model content, based on the group of you who are mystics, we'll talk about what type of content you'll want, because I know you might have questions and I have answers and I want us to get together. So we'll be able to do that in a lot of different ways, just so you know. But in the meantime, I like to try and make sure Mindfully community knows it's okay to call us woo-woo, and we don't have to share everything. But meantime, your oversoul's doing great and dandy if you're a 5D collective member, meaning you're doing great. You're appreciative and you're aware of every single step of the way. I mean, soulmates are amazing, twin flames as well. And the part of what you're when you expand what you expand as an empowered feminine, you know it's happening. The masculines, they realize everything once they become empowered feminines of their own, and therefore empowered masculines. And when we come together, it's a beauty. Mwah. So at the end of the day, always intelligence expands. So does smartness beyond just the social circumstances, intellect, emotional, mental, physical intelligence. Well, I got news for you. When it happens that I have the honor and opportunity to connect to a heart and soul like that, it's always leaving more for me to share with you all, and for my relational field with that specific, authentic, genuine relationship to build. So the relational field with your inner self, a differentiated self, and another builds. And so when there's the romantic one, right? The one that's the true life partner that sticks around. And not like the fairy tales. It's an active, enriching experience because of being mindfully aware of the pure consciousness that you are. So that this is that depth of awareness of who and how you feel your own. And then when you come together with another, and that's consistent other, because the one who on, off, eventually like, okay, you just know, okay, they're on, off, whatever. This is something that's random that they will do and not do. I'm saying when it's the consistent flow state between two pure piece of consciousness that enjoy who they are as unique selves and enjoy sharing that because you're sharing heart and soul openly, and you actively make an energy with you and the other is brilliant and breathtaking. So again, thank you for stopping by. We'll be back with more. Have a good one.